Ladies and gentlemen, and online viewers from around the world, welcome to 2021 World Telecom Smart City Conference. The theme of this year's conference is building smart cities through partnerships. World telecom giants will share their insights on developing diverse solutions, building smart cities, and pioneering future opportunities. And ladies and gentlemen, for us to kick off our morning program, we would like to invite Ms. Pei Li Chen, Deputy Director General of the Industrial Development Bureau, Ministry of Economic Affairs, to say a few words. So without further ado, let us put our hands together and give a very warm welcome to Ms. Chen.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of Industrial Development Bureau, Ministry of Economic Affairs, it's my honor to welcome all of you to today's World Telecom Smart City Conference. Thank you for your coming today. And as you may know that the 5G, AI, IoT has developed very well, and we can see that the telecom operator have played a very important role. So this year, this is the 5th time my bureau, the IDB, we held and organized today's conference together with TCA. We hope this event can explore more and more business opportunity. And this conference is the only one and regular conference targeting to telecom operator to share their experience on smart city as well as their up-to-date technology and solutions. So in today's meeting, we invite many speakers. For example, the Singtel from Singapore, Celcom from Malaysia, and KT from Korea, and also Telin from Indonesia to share their experience on smart city. And in Taiwan, we also invite Chunghwa Telecom and Far Eastern Telecom to share their smart service in the testbed transformation. So, and also that my bureau, we are promoting the Smart Taiwan project. So in the past 3 years, we have more than 200 cases has been improvement in 22 of Taiwan's countries. So we can see that there are many applications in terms of 5G smart factory, also the AI air pollution monitor, or the smart education, even smart transportation. So later on, my colleague, they will introduce the outcome of our Smart Taiwan project. And last but not least, I would like to say that I welcome all of you to come to today's conference. And I really wish there's no more pandemic next year, so that we can arrange a real conference, and we can arrange a real site tour to all of our distinguished guests. And finally, I would like to make a wish. I wish you can have a very success and fruitful conference today. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Chen, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join us this morning. The presentation session will now begin. The first speaker will be Mr. Arthur Wang, Deputy Director, Smart City Project Office, delegated by the Industrial Development Bureau, Ministry of Economic Affairs. He will talk about smart city innovation in Taiwan. So without further ado, please welcome Mr. Wang.
Okay, good morning, everybody. And in behalf of Smart City Project Office, dedicated by MOE IDB, I'm very glad that I can share our experience today and about what we have done in Taiwan for more than 200 Smart City projects during these 3 years. So let's begin our presentation. Okay, let me see. Can they see my, okay, good. Okay, first, you can see Taiwan. I think, well, we are a little country located on the eastern part of Asia, as you know, and we have more than 23 million people living on this island. So you can see that, from this small island, we got a lot of people here, and that means we need to have some smart technology to help us to provide some service and to solve some problem about those human problem or the transportation problem or even some pollution problem. And we are known for that ICT industry in Taiwan for past decades. You can see that, oh, sorry. Okay, and what's our advantage for being smart? I think you can see that we are very famous from ICT hardware market share, and also you can see our motherboard, the tablet PC, wearable device, LCD monitor, or notebook industry is very good, or even the top share, market share in the world. Also, we have a lot of, we have a very good ICT service penetration rate in Taiwan. You can see for a 4G, the 4G penetration rate is over 100%, and also the smartphone ownership is about over 95%. That means Taiwanese people really like smartphone, play smartphone at any time, in any place. Okay, and we try to play a new model for the smart city in Asia. And not only the central government spend a lot of budget and try to do a lot of ICT infrastructure or ICT service. Also, our cities and counties in Taiwan, you can see that 15 of 22 cities or counties in Taiwan has been nominated as the intelligent community in past 10 years. And especially, we have 3 cities, Taoyuan, Taichung, and Taipei, that was selected as a top 1 intelligent community of the year in 2019, 2013, and 2006. So, in the world, so we try for about 10 or 15 years from doing the smart city project from the 1.0 to 3.0. You can see that from 2015, we try to focus on ICT infrastructure at that time. And from that on, we try to provide many solutions, hardware and software integration system, or from 2018, you can see we focus on the local government's request and policy. We work with industry, the private sectors and public sector to work together to focus on the you can see, try to build a lot of customized service for different groups, such as students, such like elderly, or even for our youth, or for some industry which they need. And our framework, you can see that we separate from 2 parts, from the central policy and from the local needs. You can see that from the top down, we address about 11 topics from our industrial needs. So you can see such like auto driving or AI, 5G, IoT, such like that. And from the bottom up, we collect about 158 needs from the local governments. So maybe they need such like healthcare or air pollution detection or prediction or the parking solution for the local needs. And we ask the private or public sector to provide some field for them, for our enterprise or for our industry to take a field try and fine-tune their solution. So, as mentioned before, we have 223 projects for these 3 years, and about almost 300 enterprise joined. And you can see that we create a lot of job opportunity. Also, the capital investment is about 30 billion NT dollars. So in one sentence, we try to improve the city's life and our people's life quality. So each sentence from here, you can see that's the goal or the achievement from every single or every different project, smart city project. So some of them, we try to reduce the transportation time to the hospital, or we try to reduce the time for people to spend the time on the road to find the parking space. And some empirical case I want to show here. You can see that such like a smart care, this project, we did it on the Pingtung, the very southern part of Taiwan. We established an IoT safety net by using a wearable device. And with positioning, try to help the elderly to locate their location. So the children don't be worried about their parents go outside, and they can know where they are and try to find where they are. Also, the smart agriculture, we use the drone and AI auto detection to spread the chemical pesticides and monitor crops or gather some environmental data and try to help the efficiency of our farmer to, in the field. And about the small mobility or smart transportation, you can see that we installed more than 40,000 geomagnetic sensors in 10 cities. So we can detect the parking space at a real time and tell our driver the direction, and also they can use mobile payment to pay the parking fee. And not only with the system integrator, but also we work with a major telecom operator in Taiwan, such as we work with Taiwan Mobile to have the 5G smart stadium in Xinzhuang, in Xinbei City. You can see that we provide some 5G-enabled innovative entertainment services, such as 8K high-resolution streaming and AR, VR, interactive game, etc. We try to make the game be more interesting and try to attract people can go to the stadium. Also, we work with Chunghwa Telecom to have some try about the 5G entertainment services, about some real-time multi-location, some immersive video streaming, and some TV program. We have done it about maybe 3 or 5 times in the past years. In fact, as we mentioned before, we have more than 223 projects in Taiwan. So if you want to have a detailed look, and this, you can try our 3-dimension Smart City online exhibition from this web address. Also, I think the easiest way is just visit us on the first floor and visit us on booth 7. I think it's 711. Yeah, it's quite so easy to remember. So visit us. We have more than 17 vendors, including education, including transportation, healthcare, or government's agriculture or 5G and live demo show over there. And also, you can see a lot of city or county government. They provide some their city service at first floor. Okay, and that's my brief presentation for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wang, for your presentation on smart city innovation in Taiwan. And the next speaker on the agenda will be Mr. Vishnu Ban, Director of Customer Engagement, Singtel Group Enterprise. Vishnu leads customer engagement for 5G at Singtel, working with its key clients, vendors, partners, regulators, and associates. His work is focused on leveraging key 5G capabilities to create commercial and societal value. The topic of his presentation today will be 5G, a unique combination of experiences and sustainability for smart cities. Without further ado, please welcome Mr. Vishnu Ban.
Thank you very much. Very, very glad to be here this morning and speaking to the audience. I thank you for giving me this opportunity. While we are talking about 5G, what often happens is like any other technology, we end up putting technology first and then trying to figure out what are we solving for. So I thought we should probably take a step back and look at, while we have a great technology that's available now, we also need to look at what are we really solving for, and not just short-term commercial objectives that we are trying to achieve, but also what are the longer-term goals from a sustainability perspective that we need to set out for telcos and for the tech companies. Moving on, I wanted to first have a look at where the world is today. The virtual economy as we see today, which is dominated by the tech giants with the likes of Netflix, Google, Facebook, you'll see that the amount of activity which is happening today online is so enormous. There is about 694,000 hours of footage which is watched on Netflix every minute. There are more than 1 million people logging into Facebook every minute, and nearly 400,000 apps which get downloaded from Play Store and the Apple App Store every minute. This all happens in just 1 minute. But what often happens when we are so enamored by these virtual economies is that we sometimes forget that the world actually runs on real businesses. Real businesses are those physical businesses which do manufacturing, which produce the things, the goods, which provide the services that we consume. If we look at the real world, and this is an infographic that we at Singtel have compiled ourselves, so this is not something we are reusing, but to give you a view of what happens every minute in the world is that there's nearly 1,000 kilometers of optical fiber which is created. There is 1.14 million sticks of cigarette which are manufactured. There is nearly 400,000 garments which are manufactured. There is 11 million liters of oil that is refined. 200 cars are produced in the world every minute. 3,000 mobile phones are produced in the world every minute. And this world, real world, which continues to manufacture and produce, it's growing. But what happens is that while they're doing their job, there are a lot of external events which could influence their production, their supply, their manufacturing, their raw materials. And what happens is that it leads to a lot of variance, which could be bad for companies. For example, like we know today, there is a ship which is stuck in the Suez Canal, due to which there are another 200 ships stuck behind it, which is invariably going to lead to some sort of a disruption in the supply chain for certain goods, which will have a follow-on impact on factories which are accepting them. But let's look at something very specific and curious, which is instant noodles. Last year when the pandemic started, the world realized that the comfort food which everybody wanted to go to was instant noodles. And at the moment, or rather last year at this time, it was the production capacity was about 60,000 packets of instant noodles every minute. And in order to ramp up to actually meet the needs and the demands of the world, it needed to grow to about 80,000 packets every minute. And the industry took that on as a challenge and they started producing. While that was happening, something else also happened. The pandemic started getting better, which is a lot of economies started recovering. So we now have a very different market today. There was a time in August of 2020 when the newspapers were talking about how instant noodle manufacturers see a boost and they have started producing more and more. But today, what we see in February of 2021, and this is a photograph from Singapore, is that there are so many instant noodle packets available that they're now being sold at a loss. You can buy 40 packets of Tom Yum Mami for $1, which is way below the manufacturing cost. But this is the impact which variances or exceptions can have on supply chains, on manufacturing. The reason I wanted to talk about this before I move on to the next section is to give you a view of how disruption can lead to such a change in the business, the way business happens. Now, Coming back to our world and the way that it exists today, there are some key things which I wanted to pick up from among everything else that's probably wrong in the world today. The first one is about industrial manufacturing and the problem of downtime. The fact that an average downtime of 4 hours will cost a company about $2 million overall, as a revenue loss, as productivity loss, and the cost of shutting down, etc. There are nearly a billion cars in the world on the roads, and 250 million of them are moving at any point of time. In the US alone, congestion due to cars moving and not being able to get the right of way and too many people on the road, it costs about $305 billion per year in productivity. And taking a view of a radically different segment, if we look at food production, which is primarily agriculture, 30% of the food which is produced today is lost or wasted somewhere along the food supply chain. There is another growing area which is IoT today, which is a clear statistic on that is that there are about 22 billion IoT devices in the world, and they're growing at a rate of nearly 10 to 20% every year, which means that many more, 3 or 4 billion devices get added to the world every year, and they need to connect back to a network because they're IoT devices. And the last one, which I want to highlight, and I will be talking about all of them in more detail in my subsequent slides, but something that's extremely worrying is that if we look at the number of doctors per 1,000 inhabitants in countries, we see that Germany leads the world, and at best, what it offers is 4.3 doctors per 1,000 people. And India is at its worst with about 0.8 doctors per 1,000 people. And what this does is that it actually makes things like the pandemic even worse, because you not only have a problem to solve on your hands, but you also now are out of resources because you don't have enough doctors. And these are the areas where we think technology needs to step in. We know, of course, like, for example, with medical care, China is far ahead. Some countries, even like Korea and Taiwan, are far ahead than underdeveloped countries like, or rather developing countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, etc. But not enough is still being done. So if I go to the first point which I raised about downtime, downtime is such a big problem for companies today, which exist within smart cities, which exist within smart townships, and where often there are smart townships which are centered around smart factories. And the problem is exacerbated by the fact that 37% of lost downtime means that they are not able to actually meet customer demand, and 46% of there's a 46% impact on customer due to this downtime. And there's an estimate which says that a 4-hour average actually means about $2 million in losses. And you can imagine the amount of losses which companies have today because of downtime. And this affects not just companies, it also affects governments, because there are a lot of capital heavy areas like MRTs, airports, trains, buses. We have seen in the past when there have been disruptions in Singapore's MRT network, and that costs money to manage the fallout of such disruptions. What we see is that the world really needs rapid adoption of Industry 4 practices, which means that you not only need applications, but you also need infrastructure, which allows you to use scalable, reliable, high capacity compute at the same time, super fast, low latency networks, which can make Industry 4 happen. There are proactive and predictive maintenance techniques using AI, digital twins, etc., which companies are slowly adopting. But what we see is that 5G can actually be potentially one of the biggest enablers for managing this problem in the world. Moving to the next area, which is autonomous vehicles. Like I mentioned earlier, there's about 1 billion cars in the world and about 250 million which are moving. Traffic congestion costs a lot of money and lost productivity. And if you also look at the number of people who are actually killed on roadways around the world, it's about 1.35 million people who die every year due to accidents. And another key metric to track is that nearly $715 billion is paid by people as motor insurance every year. Now, why am I telling you this? Because we think that there is a big case for autonomous cars, which a lot of companies have come up with autonomous cars, even with level 5 technology today. But those are expensive and they still are not able to talk to their environment, which would help us then manage this entire problem in its entirety. And that's where we also see 5G coming in as a big enabler with its low latency connectivity. It can enable cars to be cheaper with less compute on board, and at the same time be able to connect to other infrastructure around itself, so that it could lead to these outcomes like where you have less number of fatalities on the road, and at the same time you're paying less insurance. The third area is about the food, which is lost in the supply chain. And, 30% of the food is estimated to be lost every year. And with the way the world is moving right now, it's expected that the population will touch about 9.1 billion by 2050. So this will require about 70% more food. And agricultural productivity is not magic. It cannot just overnight increase the production. So it's limited by the laws of physics, chemistry, and natural events. And when you produce more, it's actually worse, because you're producing more, you're also producing more greenhouse gases, which at the same time is leading to an even worse situation. So what we think the world really needs is technology to enable farmers, the last mile producers, to sustainably grow their produce, to manage their risks, and at the same time also optimize the supply chain and logistics. You'll be surprised every year the number of bananas which go waste because they're stuck up in transport for long and they become ripe even before they hit the shelves. This requires real-time monitoring, real-time tracking of perishable food, consumption of which can not just lead to wastage, but also consumption of which can lead to health issues. So another area where we see 5G making a big difference. The next one, which I had mentioned earlier in the initial slide, is about healthcare, where we see that the number of qualified medical doctors available is so low that it's actually going to be difficult with managing another pandemic, or even managing the fallout of the current pandemic. The supply of doctors is limited. It takes years to train them and ramp up the number of doctors. At the same time, telemedicine works, but the current technologies leave it insufficient. It doesn't really help a lot. Now, there are wearables which are revolutionizing, the monitoring of healthcare parameters, but still, it's not enough because it's not real time. There is a gap. Now, imagine if you have a patient who is strapped onto a monitoring device in a hospital, and if you don't know whether his heart is beating in real time, would you be able to do any intervention? Of course, in hospitals, you can do that because hospitals use wire technology, which has low latency and real-time monitoring. But how does that happen if the patient is actually at his home? And can you actually reduce the cost of healthcare by introducing remote monitoring? Can you expand the pool of people who would benefit from this by having a technology solution to it? So we see that this will also allow us to go above and beyond. At Singtel, we are working with a healthcare company where we are trying to look at how it would be possible for senior doctors to monitor junior doctors in another part of the world using 5G and virtual reality glasses, which means that you are mentoring other doctors on the fly in real time. Because today people cannot travel. There are so many factors due to which doctors, especially trained, qualified people, are not able to move across geographies. The next one, which I want to bring up, is IoT devices. There's about 22 billion IoT devices which are connected to the world right now, rather to the internet right now, and the proportion is only growing. And if we just look at the number of devices that are meant to connect back to a network in the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to already overwhelm the current 4G network, because the current 4G network is not built for capacity. if we look at the current parameters which are configured for 4G networks, you wouldn't be able to go beyond about 10,000 devices per square kilometer, whereas 5G has an ability to enhance that to about 1 million devices per square kilometer. So we see that if not speed, if not latency, if not reliability, just capacity and being able to manage that many more number of devices will become one of the biggest thrusts for 5G to be adopted in the world. And so I wanted to give a view of, with these 5 different use cases that we talked about, 5G brings to the world massive MIMO, beamforming, which leads to, massive Internet of Things, enhanced mobile broadband, and mission control, mission critical control. Mission critical control we see as being one of the biggest influencers for adoption of Industry 4.0, especially in factories and manufacturing units where currently wired networks are becoming an issue and wireless would sort of liberate them. We are looking at enhanced mobile broadband specifically for improving the retail or the consumer experience of being able to connect to the internet through a very fast and a high bandwidth pipe, which would in the future enable on-the-go virtual reality and augmented reality headsets, which wouldn't need to be used only within a certain precinct because of the limitations on connectivity. And the massive Internet of Things is what we see is going to drive everything from autonomous vehicles to healthcare to creating a hyper-connected world. So with this, I'd also come to the conclusion of my presentation today. We believe that 5G is not merely technology, it's a revolution. And this revolution can actually make the world a better place. Where we are right now in the evolution of 5G is that we're still not mature. We are identifying use cases, shaping devices, figuring out how it's going to be good for the world. So this is an excellent opportunity for telcos, tech companies, as well as the ecosystem partners to come together and shape this revolution in a way that would make the world a better place. And with this, you have to go beyond connectivity. You have to enable experiences. You have to bundle value. It's not just about creating long-lasting value for your company, but also watching trends and understanding real-world problems, and that bundles value into the customer ecosystem. We have to enable ecosystems, forge partnerships, collaborate upstream, downstream, across the value chain. And 5G is making all of that happen today. And finally, we have to grow the digital economy as we see the economy is slowly moving from the physical to the virtual world. And this 5G will become the platform or the building blocks behind growing this digital economy. And with all of this, what we hope is that we can actually make the world a better place. So Singtel is committed to sustainability. Singtel as a company is committed to making the world a better place for ourselves and the communities around us. And we believe that 5G is going to be one of the biggest drivers for doing that. Thank you very much, everyone.
And thank you very much for joining us today, Mr. Vishnu Ban. And ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker will be Mr. Ravin Viknaswaran, Head of Enterprise Solutions 5G, Celcom, Axiata Berhad, Malaysia. The topic of his presentation today is Smart City Solutions powered by 5G, Smart Safety and Security, and Smart Ports. So please welcome Mr. Ravin. So Mr. Ravin, please feel free to begin whenever you're ready. And please also make sure you turn on your microphone before you start speaking. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, and it's a great pleasure to be invited for today's event. I shall be speaking about smart city solutions powered by 5G, focusing mainly on the smart safety and security, and also smart ports. At Celcom Axiata, we have begun the journey on 5G quite early, starting in May, where we have already had our first 5G trials, both for the C-band and also in the 28 gigahertz spectrum. We had a national 5G showcase in April 2019, and we continued work in the area with multiple cluster field trials for household as well as commercial deployments in Klang Valley. Moving on towards the end of 2019, we went into a collaboration with a local university and a leading network provider to work on an innovation center to develop use cases for 5G. Moving on into early 2020, we had a large 5G demonstration project in Langkawi, an island in the north of Malaysia, where we had quite an extensive demonstration of 5G use cases and 5G capabilities. We replicated that again in Penang from the success of the Langkawi work, and we continue now with more showcases in Klang Valley. Malaysia will be launching its 5G soon. It was slowed down a little bit, but now the government has again pushed that, and we believe by the end of this year we will have 5G commercialized in Malaysia. So today I am going to just speak a little bit on the work that we have done, as I mentioned, across various use cases. Starting from Langkawi, where we have smart tourism, smart safety and security, smart port, smart education, various use cases that we set up in Langkawi. We replicated the smart safety and security in Penang Island, and also in the Klang Valley, we have various smart safety and security use cases operationalized and running with the authorities. So we believe that the best way to actually learn the technology is to take it live with the users. Just leaving it on exhibitions and trials does not give you the learning curve that you require, but getting them operationalized with the end customer is what we will, and we have learned a lot in that area. Also on the east coast of Malaysia, in Terengganu, we worked with one of the largest oil companies in Malaysia for some smart oil and gas in their research and training center across various use cases. And now very recently with the Sunway Group, we are working on a 5G showcase in the Sunway Pyramid Mall. Now for today, I'm going to focus on the work that we did in Langkawi Island. As I mentioned, we had various use cases that we built together with our partners, starting with the Langkawi Cable Car, where we had a smart counter solution for crowd control and to allow the cable car operator to understand the kind of demographics that they were receiving at their attraction. We also are working with the Malaysian police in Pantai Chenang, where we have installed our smart safety and security system along with our partners. We also work with Bausted Langkawi Shipyard, which is a geofencing and smart parameter use case that we are working with the shipyard. We then expanded our use cases to Langkawi Port, and that's what I will be speaking quite a bit of on later in my slides. So this is a complete 5G port, the first 5G port in Malaysia, and we have quite a comprehensive safety and management solution enabled by 5G. So all the backhauling is over 5G. We also have some work in Dataran Lang, which is a smart tourism use case, which we stream back live to the international airport. Besides that, we also work on FWA solutions with the local community for education purposes. And lastly, the IPD QA is for us to stream back all the live feeds that we get out of Pantai Chenang back to the command center for the Malaysian police. So these were the various use cases that we worked on, but I'll be focusing today on the smart safety and security and the smart port. So diving deeper into use cases that we executed in Langkawi, in Pantai Chenang with the Malaysian police, we deployed 5 use cases there: facial recognition, peer analysis, human body analysis, traffic violation, vehicle analysis. These were the 5 use cases that the police appreciated our assistance and support on, and we worked together to identify hot areas where these use cases were successful and will bring the most benefit. So Pantai Chenang is actually the hottest tourist spot in Langkawi, and it has a very high density of tourists. So these systems have been deployed there. Just to give you a view of Pantai Chenang, that's Pantai Chenang in Langkawi, and these are the various cameras that we have positioned throughout Pantai Chenang. Every pole has a couple of cameras, and they serve different purposes according to the use cases that I mentioned above. So we have covered the entire stretch. It's a 2-kilometer stretch, and we have covered it with the smart safety solution cameras, and they are operationalized and currently still running, and the police actually use the system on a daily basis to help them with their policing work. Here I show you a view of these cameras that are live right now and operationalized. So we cover the entire stretch. So from Pentil zoom cameras covering the roads, covering the beaches, covering the hot areas, traffic violation, to detect illegal parking, lane changing, license plate recognition. We also have facial recognition cameras set up at hot areas that the police needed help on. And we have been successful in actually helping the police solve some theft cases with these facial recognition cameras. And we continue to work with them to increase the locations that we will install these cameras on. So these are all live cameras which are operationalized right now, and they are all connected by 5G. So everything is carried over the 5G network back to the command center and back to the core networks that we have within the Celcom network. This gives you a deeper view of the traffic violation, how the system is able to detect illegally parked cars. This information then is fed back to a database where the police can then use the license plate recognition feature to build a database of all these violations. And at the back end, they can work with the Road Transport Department and other authorities to take necessary actions, whether it be a warning or whether it being deploying a patrol squad to the ground is the situation, or whether to use that information to issue summons. So the police have the information, and then at the back end, they choose which action they would like to take. So that was the Pantai Chenang use smart safety and security. And as I mentioned, after the successful deployment of that, we continued to work with Langkawi Port in Dermaga Tanjung Lembong to build on the 5G port safety management. So again here, prior to getting into the use cases, we sat down with the Langkawi Port Authority and to understand what their pain points were. Being a port and being a duty-free zone, they had a lot of assets that needed to be managed, security that needed to be enhanced. And we were able to agree on the right use cases to be used. So we agreed on 3 use cases for Langkawi Port: the digital boundary, whereby we set boundaries in the areas that are deemed high security, and also along the coast where boats come in to the port. So building digital fencing and digital boundaries to help the security of Langkawi port to manage the safety and security at the port. Also, we have vehicle analysis, so the authorities can check on cars coming in and out of the port. Langkawi, as I mentioned, is a duty-free zone, so you have cars which fall under the duties unpaid category that are allowed to be in Langkawi, and the movement of these cars in and out of Langkawi needs to be very tightly controlled. And the authorities are using the vehicle analysis and license plate recognition to track the cars that are coming in and out of the port, along with the standard documentation that is required by the Customs Department. And lastly, we worked on the smart thermal sensors. The port had diesel tanks that they had at the edge of the port, which they needed to be monitored. Being next to the sea, the temperatures of these areas sometimes exceeds the threshold, and they needed the help of technology to help them track such variances in the temperatures, and for installed thermal cameras, which are also fed back to the command center, whereby they can view and control, but view and have an assessment of the situation on the ground. This is just an overview of the solutions that we have there. Various camera types for different use cases, all of which are connected back to our 5G CPEs, back to the 5G network, and the information is then connected back to the Langkawi Port Command Center, where they can view all the information and take the necessary action. Again, this is a live view of the port that I mentioned from one of the cameras. So this gives various use cases in this picture. So you can see on the left, you have the digital boundary. You also have the diesel tanks on the right. You have the vehicle analysis in the center. So a complete use case has been deployed here, and different cameras give you different information, and working with the authorities to build the right solution was very key. And these, again, are up and running at the moment, and we plan to actually expand the usage of this in other ports throughout Malaysia. This is the smart thermal sensors that I mentioned, whereby the diesel tanks are being tracked. And we believe in the future, by having these additional features, customers can work with the insurance companies, to get some kind of discount, some kind of rebates on the insurances on high value, high risk assets such as this. Applying technology helps, and when you apply the right amount of controls, then there is a possibility to work with your insurance companies to optimize the packages and the deals that you have with them. So this smart thermal sensors is, it's real-time monitoring with alerts for the combustible areas within the port. This is the vehicle analysis. So using the PTZ cameras, we can zoom in to the vehicles that are parked at the landing bay of the port. You have very high zoom on these cameras, and you can really zoom right down to the actual road tax. And with that, the security can determine whether this vehicle is allowed to be in the port, how long the vehicle has been in the port, what are the authorities, which areas of the port they are allowed to be in, so on and so forth. So all these can be done without having the personnel go down and do manual checks. All these are tracked via the cameras, and all the information is pulled back and kept in a database for the necessary action by the authorities. Similarly, vehicle analysis, again, being a duty-free zone, cars that come in and out, there are collection fees for the cargo, to manage vehicles that exceed the time in the dockyard, enforcement for Langkawi registered vehicles exiting the island. All this information and use cases are tracked via the LPR cameras that we have at the point of the entry of the port where the cars roll in from the ships. And this information again is fed back to the command center for them to take necessary action. That pretty much was a summary of the use cases that we have deployed in Malaysia. Celcom continues to work with our customers to build on these use cases. There is a spectrum of various use cases, from the automation, from ports, smart safety, security, etc., etc. We continue to work with our customers in different areas, and when we find that technology helps, we work together with them to apply this technology. And having the 5G enabler, I see 5G as an enabler to make such solutions faster into the market, more effective, and I believe that we will see a lot of these smart solutions deployed in Malaysia in the coming quarters. Thank you very much. That's all from me, and hope you all have a nice day.
And thank you very much, Mr. Ravin, for joining us this morning. The next speaker will be Mr. Jong Min Yoon, Project Manager, Smart Space Video DX Business Department, Korea Telecom. He will talk about Korean smart cities and smart city projects by Korea Telecom. So without further ado, please welcome Mr. Jong Min Yoon.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to be here today and have this opportunity at World Telecom Smart City Conference. My name is Jung Min Eun from Korea Telecom. I'm here as the speaker for Korean Smart Cities and Smart City Project by Korea Telecom. In today's speaking, we will talk about background and strategies of Korea Smart Cities, how it has developed and how it will develop in the future. And we will talk about the Smart City project of Korea Telecom, how KT developed smart cities by using technologies 5G and AIoT. So, more than half of the world's population now live in urban areas, increasingly in highly dense cities. The UN estimates the 21st century is the year when for the first time, more people in the world live in urban than in rural areas. By 2050, it is projected that more than 2/3 of the world population will live in urban areas. According to the research, Korea's urbanization rate has exceeded 90%. As population is concentrated in cities due to rapid urbanization, it causes various urban problems such as traffic congestion, fine dust, like that. These problems threat urban sustainability and negatively affect to people's life quality. So, Korea government are paying attention to smart cities to solve urban problems and make full-fledged efforts to promote smart city using first technologies revolution such as big data and AI. Korea's strength in developing smart cities can be explained in two ways. First, Korea is smart. Korea has world-class IoT technology as well as world-leading companies such as Samsung and LG. And Korea is the first country to commercialize 5G technology in worldwide. In addition, Korea is an IT-friendly country with the world's highest smartphone penetration rate and highest internet use. These trends of Korea promote to develop smart city in short times. Korea's smart city policy has been gradually expanding and evolving in accordance with change in circumstance. At first phase, it is a project that combines of development of a high-speed ICT infrastructure in this phase. And in second phase, the government implemented information and system linkage projects focusing on public in order to maximize the utilization of the established smart infrastructure. Korea began to distribute the integrated platform based on 5 major public service. In this phase, we can see smart city policy of Korea expanded from closed type to open type data platform. And in third phase, Korea expanded its policy to encompass new concepts such as testbed, living labs, innovative ecosystem of the new technologies such as 5G and AIoT. And Korea developed smart cities to solve urban problems and adapt this concept to develop new town and existing cities. We can see how goals have been changed following development of smart city. In third phase, Korea government aims to solve urban problems and foster innovation ecosystem through smart city development. So, Korea government is implementing various policies such as developing national pilot project, smartization of existing cities, and building an industry ecosystem. So far, 67 local government foster to develop smart cities in nationwide. There are 2 pilot projects, which is representative smart city project in Korea. First one is Sejong Pilot City, and second one is Busan Pilot City. Sejong Pilot City, with the concept of AI-based city, is creating a smart city that changes the daily life of citizens through 7 innovative factors, such as mobility, healthcare, education, energy, and more. For example, a smart transportation optimized traffic by sharing-based transformation and AI analysis of traffic flow data to provide a service that reduces commute time and cost, and introduce various future transformation such as sharing car and autonomous vehicle to be experienced in daily life. So citizens can experience future mobility and city service in Sejong Pilot City. The Busan Pilot City, with the concept of data and AR, is creating a cutting-edge waterfront city through 9 innovative factors, such as robot, water, and energy. In particular, it is a city specialized in water by applying smart water management technology in the entire urban water cycle, and will also build zero energy system that achieve 100% energy self-sufficiency by utilizing renewable energy source from nature, such as hydro and solar energy. So this Busan pilot project focus on a renewable energy and water management. So how KD has developed smart city in Korea and other countries? So at first, KD has participated in various projects from new city to smart city in Korea and other countries. KT's vision for smart city is designing a human-centered city with our cutting-edge technologies to solve urban problems. We develop smart cities based on KT Smart City platform, which is integrated data platform by using our technologies such as 5G, AI, IoT, big data. Then KT provides 6 categories smart cities service from mobility to healthcare based on our technology. So what is KT Smart City platform? A KT Smart City platform, which is called City Makers, is a core factor for developing smart city. City Makers collect whole urban data by using diverse sensors such as IoT, drones, CCTV, and mobile device through our 5G technology and Wi-Fi. And this platform converts the data into meaning information and finally provides the data as a valuable smart city service. This platform can collect urban data from the unit of building and whole city. So this is our main infrastructure and main service for a smart city project. Based on Smart City platform, KT serves comprehensive solution for smart city. KT adapts digital technologies such as 5G and AI to transform a city service. We called it digital transformation. KT serves 5G smart mobility service such as autonomous car, connected car, and car infotainment. Nowadays, we are work together with a global car manufacturer, OEM. And also KT supports city safety by using a 5G and IoT and other main service based on our technologies. KT has over 60 diverse smart cities in worldwide. Based on this experience, we could accumulate smart city experience and know-how. So let's talk about how KT has developed smart city by using our technologies more specific. At first, let's say Songdo International Business District, which is the initial project of KT. Songdo is a smart city or ubiquitous city built from scratch on 5,000 hectares of reclaimed land along waterfront. Songdo International Business District was designed and created to be a smart city with technologies. Computers are built into the buildings and streets, while sensors gather information on things like traffic flow and energy use. So KT built IoT infrastructure for smart city service such as green building, renewable energy, and integrated center control system. And next, let's talk about our project. This is Pangyo Autonomous City. Pangyo is known as the Silicon Valley of Korea. There are many startups and IT big tech companies in this area. So in Pangyo, KT built the autonomous vehicle cluster in the tech-savvy district. KT serves 5G technologies and smart city platform for establishing this autonomous vehicle cluster. There are three main services for this cluster, such as autonomous driving, bus, traffic control, and V2X based on 5G. V2X means a vehicle to everything, so vehicle can communicate each other between the vehicles. So they enables to work on autonomous vehicle. So these services are built based on our CITS technique, which is Cooperative Intelligent Transportation System. This technology enables to communicate each vehicles and autonomous driving. So in more specific, there are other applied technology to this cluster. So we developed these technologies based on our 5G technology and AI and IoT technologies. And at last, let's talk about Sihung Data Platform Smart City. Sihung is one of government-supported smart city. This project focuses on developing smart city based on data platform. KT is building a digital smart city ecosystem through comprehensive data platform. KT provides three main services such as City Lab, Data Hub Platform, and Digital Twin. At first, City Labs is a main anchor facilities for smart city tech startups and managed data platform by cooperating local universities. Data platform is an online data market, so people can sell or buy their urban data, and they find other people's data or hold data from the city. And digital twin is the collection of digital data representing a physical object. KT is developing a digital twin technology and embody digital urban data representing the city. It enables to manage whole city and simulate diverse experiments. So far, we have looked Korean smart cities and KT smart city project. KT always along with Korean smart cities, and we would do it together in the future. Based on many smart city projects, KT aims to build smart city for human-centric sustainable city to solve urban problems by using our technologies. We would build smart city based on our 5G network and smart city platform. Based on this digital infrastructure, we build and we support our diverse smart service for people. So to this end, KT always try to develop future city for people. Thank you for listening, everyone.
And thank you very much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate your presentation on Korea's smart city projects. And ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker will be Mr. Lê Quang Hiệp, General Director of BCAF Global, Vietnam. His presentation will focus on AI applications in 5G smart cities. So without further ado, please welcome Mr. Lê Quang Hiệp.
Okay. Là chị này được. Đây đúng không? Bắt đầu được không?
Yes, Mr. Helps, please feel free to begin whenever you are ready.
Okay. Ready now. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lê Quang Hiệp, General Director of BKV Global Vietnam. BKV is a professional manufacturer of cybersecurity, software, smartphone, IoT devices, and security camera with brand name AIview. 5G, which is designed to bring about high data rate and low latency, has played an important part in enabling technology for IoT and facilitate the application for Industry 4.0. Many new applications that we thought it would be impossible before 5G has been deployed. One is the construction for smart city, in which camera with analytics will be a key element. Today, I'm honored to participate in the 2021 Untitled Telecom Smart City Conference and present to you about our AI-powered camera. AIview camera are now being deployed in smart office, park, and in the US. Also, we are working with some partners in Malaysia, Mexico, and India to deploy smart cities. It's my pleasure to be here today to share to you about our product and their application in constructing smart cities. We are one of the first manufacturers using the DSP for image processing and making AI camera. We are to be a partner of choice for Qualcomm Smart City Accelerate 2020 program. This is an event that brings together outstanding technology sector, system integrator, service provider in global smart technology solution to explore the latest technology advancement to make smart connected city in reality. As you know, among five human senses, the eye is the nervous cell that receive information. Specifically, each human eye contains around million nerve cells, as much as 130 times the number of nerve cells of human ear, which is around 15,000 nerve cells. In our view, each AI camera is a robot able to replace the human eyes and brain. Therefore, hundreds of million AI view camera can be sold on global market. Our bigger vision to make AI built-in camera popular worldwide. The demand of surveillance camera is increased due to the trend of smart city, smart home, and intelligent workplace across the world. With a to go global, especially in the US market, AI view camera meet the international requirement, including NDA, ONVIP, FCC. Moreover, BKV took part in OSSA association along with reputable companies such as Bosch, Qualcomm, Sony, Hanwha. On the slide, our AI view camera model. We have a wide range of product type that's most popular in the market, such as dome camera, bullet camera, PTZ, and 5G camera. Our strength is the ability to develop the complex AI feature with a high level of confidence. Our camera have proven capability for AI feature running on the device, include facial recognition, human detection, object detection, ANPR license plate, fire detection. We placed two camera architecture system here for a comparison. On the left is a traditional camera system where deep learning application run on expensive VA server. Meanwhile, for AI view camera, the need for additional server for analytic calculation while maintaining the high level of accuracy. Consequently, the total cost of ownership of security infrastructure will be reduced significantly. The first and foremost advantage is scalability. Let's say for a smart city project with 100,000 of security camera, it's impossible to have an adequate centralized AI server system due to the enormous amount of data to be processed. However, problem can be solved with the AI camera, as event data will be processed and generated locally on the device. With the AI camera, the cost for data communication and bandwidth cost will be reduced as fewer data will be transmitted. The required power of VA server will also significantly diminishes. For example, a local VM server set up for a regular 300 camera system, 3x the cost over the camera, whereby the VA server setup for a regular 300 camera system is 7 the cost compared to the AI camera. Data is a big concern for customer. With the AI camera, as you are processing data locally, problem can be avoided with the trip without upload a lot of data to the cloud, make it the vulnerability from privacy perspective. Processing time with the AI camera is very fast also, so we reduce the risk of getting during drastically. AI camera give a solution to one of the most prevalent latency. On the AI camera, the AI algorithm are processing locally on the device without requiring any connection. So its data is generated from the device, processed to give high real time insight in less than fewer milliseconds. Well, the next part, I would like to show you the AI camera can be applied in smart cities. AI camera in smart city aim to be sustainable growth, making the city equipped with the advanced feature for smart pocket, traffic management, hospital, school, and shopping mall. A parking management system combining AI technology with ANPR, number plate recognition, to ensure seamless managed vehicle and access from parking lots, vehicle identification, and integrate control software mean queue minimized and greater vehicle flow can be handled to increase the productivity and efficiency of any parking site. AI camera in traffic management are able to recognize text in image and video from traffic camera, breaking them down into identifying feature and matching them to classes. AI camera can count vehicle, also detect the violation and direction. It is expected that 155,000 smart AI-based will be used by 2025 for traffic management, 5 times higher than the current number of cameras for traffic management in 2020. In addition to addressing security issues, the healthcare industry already used to improve the quality of patient care. There are a growing number of patients with fewer staff. AI camera can be applied in people counting, social distancing, face mask detection. In some cases, the camera are used to detect the patient if they fall or have any shocker. The alert message will be sent automatically to the control room or to the care team to get the video showing the situation in real time. The increase in security camera in the education environment, new challenge. AI camera powering new generation of advanced, highly effective in not only observing student teacher, but also recognize the facial and intruder from the outside. The retail vertical is leading with the way in the benefit of video analytics in the security function. In a shopping mall, it can teach a lot about your customer and business and help you reach the experienced customer in the process. Especially the amid COVID-19, AI camera can measure social distancing to keep employee, customer, and visitor safe. In addition, it also can help property management, determine product placement, and analyze how a change in store configuration might impact sale. Yeah, that is my presentation today. Thank you so much for listening.
And thank you very much, Mr. Lê Quang Hiệp from Vietnam. Thank you for sharing with us the projects, smart city projects in your country. And the next speaker will be Mr. Mario Muliadi, Carrier and Enterprise Sales Account Director, Hualien, Taiwan. Mr. Muliadi has played an important role in Hualien, Taiwan's success story, including data and enterprise business and retail branding of Hualien, Taiwan. And the topic of his presentation today will be Smart City Development in Indonesia, a review of its background and the potential market. So please welcome Mr. Mario Muliadi.
And actually, we have Telkom, as Telkom, my PPT already here. Yeah, so, yeah, actually this is the Komodo Island, yeah. If maybe after COVID, you all can go here to visit the island of Komodo, this dragon in Indonesia. So very interesting. And then yeah, this is the archipelago actually. Yeah, from Sumatra to Papua, actually we already have BTS there with total 228K BTS, like I already mentioned before. So yeah, this is the west one is Sumatra, and then east one is Papua. Yeah, this is what I mentioned about the Indonesia Global Gateway. Yeah. So from Sabang until Merauke, we already have many cable that already link from cities to cities. And from here, from Batam, we can connect via CMIMI 5 cable through Europe and Middle East. And from Manado, we can connect to the US and Pacific. This is for Hualien Portfolio. Yeah, and then this is the three main pillars to facing the digital, including the digital connectivity as the first one. It's fiber to the building, fiber to the home, or fiber to the X, including the 4G, 5G, submarine cable, all connected infrastructure. In Telkom, we divide it into the digital connectivity. And for the digital platform, actually, like data centers, content delivery network, cloud, and others. And Telin just launched our new Traffics. It's a digital marketplace, unified digital connectivity exchange. So for buyer and seller can buy and sell SMS and voice in this platform. So this is quite interesting. And the third is digital service, including the e-commerce, games, and it will target the enterprise and customer, consumer. This is the most interesting part. This is the Indonesia Iot Portfolio. If for your info, that Industry 4.0 already famous in Indonesia since 2016 actually. And the top is in 2018, the Ministry of Industry create the jargon. Jargon means motto in Indonesia. It's called Making Indonesia 4.0. So Making Indonesia 4.0 They will be including the food and beverage, textile and apparel, automotive, electronics, and chemical. Also some of the future IoT in Indonesia. So this is established in 2018. And the unique part is based on research and the aim of the Making Indonesia 4.0, Indonesia will be global top 10 economy by 2030. This is based on the research because in 2030, the productive age is more than 50% in Indonesia. So there's a golden age, golden period of Indonesia in 2030. Now, this is the most interesting part because I will share the potential market in Indonesia. So we can see that the value of IoT industry in Indonesia is expected to reach 30 billion US dollar. Maybe in Taipei, in New Taiwan dollar is more than 800 billion New Taiwan dollar. In Indonesia is 444 trillion. And this potential value will expected by 2022. So just 1 until 2 years later. And the market component include the content and application, platform, IoT device, also network and gateway. With the total device is very huge, yeah, because from Sumatra to Papua, estimation is 400 million device. And the sectors is, based on our research, 18% is manufacture, 17% healthcare, 13% insurance, and continue with retail, computing, government, and etc. Actually, as the stakeholder or vendor in Taiwan, since Taiwan have the experience in smart city, we can collaborate in the future, especially which part you want to collaborate, you want to support Indonesia to implement the smart city in the future. And this is the portfolio by Telkom. The portfolio by Telkom to implement the smart city is Smart City Nusantara, the Living Lab. So this already implemented since 2016. And the target of range customer is 548 government customer, including the, so we named it Smart Nation, Smart City, Smart Village. Smart Village is like the small cities, like Indonesia we call desa. So we here can see the desa digital. Desa is village in Indonesia. And also Smart Capital City, since Indonesia will move their capital city on 2024, we will move to Kalimantan here, in Kalimantan Island. It's Penajam Pasar Utara and Kutai Kartanegara. So they will implement the smart city first over there. Beside the government, we also plan to the smart area like smart industrial park, smart building, etc. Also the smart ecosystem like smart health, smart transportation, and etc. So from the PPT, we can review that there's an interesting part in Indonesia. So the key opportunities of IoT in Indonesia, which the first one is 65% of total population in Indonesia already connect to internet. So this is the quite big number, and year by year it's increased more and more. And also, yeah, so for the potential value, yeah, for IoT Indonesia is 32.6 billion. So it's more than 30 billion in 2022. And based on the research, Indonesia aims to be among top 10 global economy by 2030. And the most interesting part, yeah, the government already choose 100 smart city movement across the archipelago. So maybe Jakarta and 99 other cities already choose to the master plan of 100 smart city in Indonesia. The master plan of smart city in Indonesia has been built as a roadmap to accelerate the potential of the resource, utilities, and quality of human living. So yeah, I believe in 5 until 10 years later, Indonesia will be implement the smart city more and more. And of course, support by Taiwan also, because Taiwan have experience in smart city. And then this is a review of development. So in Indonesia, we plan to implement smart transportation, smart government, smart building, smart health, smart manufacture, and mobility. So this need three parts: connectivity, platform, and device. So from the PPT, I can say that Indonesia ready to implement the smart city, and for Taiwan maybe stakeholder and vendors, yeah, we can support, we can collaborate in the future. Since Taiwan, I wish Indonesia can implement the smart health as digital as Taiwan, because Taiwan is very experienced in this area. So overall, yeah, we can work and Taiwan can help Indonesia for better Indonesia in the future for the smart city area. Overall, yeah, thank you, terima kasih. Yeah, in Indonesia, yeah, I wish Indonesia and Taiwan will be more engaged in the smart city area. Thank you very much. Feel free to support me. Thank you.
And we thank you very much for joining us this morning, Mr. Mario Muliadi. And our next speaker will be Dr. Kun-Rong Wu from Chunghwa Telecom, Taiwan. Dr. Wu holds a PhD degree in computer science and engineering from National Chiao Tung University. His areas of expertise include computer vision, Internet of Things, intelligent transportation system, and multiple online and offline payments. Dr. Wu is now the president of Data Communication Business Group, Chunghwa Telecom. Without further ado, let us welcome Dr. Wu.
Professor Zhou, other speakers, and everyone. Good morning. This is Kun-Rong Wu from Data Communication Business Group, Chunghwa Telecom. And it is my pleasure to have this opportunity to show our intelligent tourism in Hualien. And my presentation title is The Friendly City of Intelligent Tourism. The main reason Taiwan attracts foreign tourists is its diverse landforms, including mountains, hills, plains, and unique volcanic landscapes. In addition, friendly customs have made Taiwan the first choice for foreign tourists. Affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, the number of foreign tourists has dropped a lot. Relatively, domestic tourism has exploded. According to the statistic from the Tourism Bureau, the number of domestic travels in 2020 reached 210 million. With the efforts of the industry, government, and academia, various smart tourism projects have played a huge role in the growth of domestic tourism industry last year. In the project of smart tourism, Chunghwa Telecom devoted to make Hualien become a tourist-friendly city. We set the friendly city as friendly to environment, friendly to tourism, and friendly to stores. We have introduced a variety of services for these three aspects in order to achieve the three main goals of carbon reduction, information transparency, and guiding visitors to promote local transformation and increase tourism output values. The beauty of Hualien is well known. People often talk about the unspoiled environment and all kinds of natural beauty. But because of this, many attractions in Hualien lack some digital infrastructure. So foreign tourists need to put more effort to reach there. Our research team found that if foreign tourists do not drive by themselves or participate in a tour, they will actually encounter traffic problems at some local area where there is no convenient public transportation back and forth. To satisfy all travelers and fulfill environmental friendly, we bring the concept of green transportation. We provide a new experience of tourism service to make travelers have the instant messaging of public transportation traffic information. We have built a smart bus with Wi-Fi mobile internet access, equipped with solar-powered and e-paper smart stop. This way, achieve an environmental friendly carbon reduction effect in Hualien. When people are taking the smart bus, we will promote travel information based on the location so that local stores can get free marketing opportunity. Everybody knows that food and souvenir are a very important part of sightseeing. There have many famous snacks in Hualien, like muaji or Hualien taro. Travelers like to buy them home to share with friends. However, due to the scale of stores, it is difficult to provide digital preferential information to tourists before traveling. It uses advertisement or hard copy virtual to promotion. In order to enhance the convenience of travelers shopping during the trip, we have created the Hualien HowQ digital coupon online platform. The unique feature of this platform is that it links up the entire journey. First, travelers can book various tours, hotels, and transportation on the websites before their departure. When they arrive in Hualien for sightseeing, they can use coupons for shopping in store not cooperate with us. By this way, travelers get discounts and make the store have the opportunity to approach customers. Influenced by the issuance of hard copy voucher in the past, once travelers complete the purchase and leave the store, the connection between the store and the travelers is gone, and the effectiveness of the marketing campaign cannot be tracked. Meanwhile, there are many conditions of mobile payments in Taiwan. In order to support these payment tools, the stores must install a variety of devices, and the printed receipts are also varied. During the checkout process, not only the customers feel inconvenient, the store feel inconvenient as well. So in order to reduce the inconvenience for tourists and the stores, one click to complete all payment is the must. We integrate a variety of payment tools to provide multiple payment services into one device, including credit cards, Easy Card, iCash, and so on. From the perspective of tourists, allowing them to pay without touching the device can also bring a bonus during the COVID-19 pandemic. Furthermore, when tourists visit Hualien, discount coupon that they receive will attract them to visit again. From the perspective of the store, the shop can use one device to complete the checkout process and use the Hualien HowQ digital coupon online platform to implement their member loyalty programs and track the effectiveness of travelers using various discounts. Okay. The project totally deployed 15 smart stop boards, 20 smart buses, 10 parking lot information boards, and 800 multi-payment devices. The project of Hualien HowQ digital coupon platform is not only provide digital coupon for travelers, but more importantly, correct customer behavior data. Based on data analysis, all the products are designed to meet the needs for all travelers, from travel before, during, and after the trip, by providing suitable service for each traveler. It can also feedback the customer behavior report to the store, so the store can design better product and bring more business opportunity. Now, it is the key moment when the 5G network takes off. More technologies can be used in the field of smart sightseeing, including AR navigation, VR scenery guides, and even 360-degree surrounding view. This technology brings travelers a more emotional experience. Through AI and big data analysis, we can recommend suitable trips for travelers based on their past experience. At the same time, through BI analysis, stores can reposition their resources, including manpower and stock, to make better revenue. These digital applications will make the city we live in more beautiful. Chunghwa Telecom will continue to build a smart sightseeing solution that is friendly to the environment, friendly to the tourists and friendly to the stores. This is my presentation today. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Dr. Wu, for introducing Chunghwa Telecom Smart Tourism Project here in Taiwan. And the next speaker will be Mr. Bill Liang, Senior Director, Enterprise and Carrier Business Unit, Far EasTone Telecommunications Taiwan. Mr. Liang has over 20 years of experience in the telecommunication and ICT industries. His experience covers local and international business development, digital transformation, go-to-market strategies, media content strategies, user behavior analysis, and overall solution consulting. His presentation today will focus on Parking Go, Far EasTone's smart parking solution. Without further ado, please welcome Mr. Liang.
Thank you. Thank you all distinguished guests, both online and on sitting. Okay, so I'm Bill. I'm basically in charge of the Far EasTone 5G enterprise strategy. So today I'm trying to share with you about how does the Far EasTone using the data to see how does the data important for the society, how does it use for smart city, and the collaboration we have with the government, with different kind of city councils, in terms of trying to achieve the better civil services that will help them to enhance the so-called the happiness of their citizens. Okay. Okay. So my topic will be the smart city parking space. So I think this happens to all the bodies. No matter you are traveling, you are commuting, you'll always find someone on the go trying to find a parking space somewhere while they're circling around, creating air pollution, those kind of things. So we are working with different city government trying to locate the available parking spaces that you can actually use and find it easily throughout the app or throughout the things. So actually we put a magnetic sensor on the ground so that we will link it with the IoT technology, link it back to our server that will actually help the government city to indicate where is the available parking spot and where to go next, okay? So all this is done by the API integration. So we are actually working with different kind of social networking services. For example, in Taiwan, working with Line because it's one of the biggest used social networking service in Taiwan. So we'll have a different kind of integration with different kind of things. Okay, so that's a video. So basically the context is also quite simple because we have the different kind of devices that we embedded into the road parking space and also the terminals that will actually use our Far EasTone network that we're collecting all the sensors data back and we can actually creating a different kind of a supporting, reporting, maintenance report to our operation center. In a way, we also have a different kind of application integration. That is why I mentioned we can do it with the line. So fundamentally, this is the best thing, this business modeling, okay? So this is the IoT platform that we created to collect all the parking sensors information, okay? So the sensor is using a magnetic thing that when a big chunk of metal sitting on top of it, usually it's a car, okay, not a people, not anything. So when you measure sitting over the thing, you will have the information trigger that will actually bring the information to the information center. The information center will know there's a parking space available or is being occupied. So the government center can actually help use this information to give out to the citizen, whether you have additional spaces or whether does this area need to be tracked or something like that. While on the other side, okay, the users can use their devices without need to install another app. They can integrate with the existing social network devices. So using this app, we can allow the user to track, okay, is there any available spaces, where to, those kind of things. So this is just the initial stage where we are actually seeking for additional cooperation with different kind of smart city sensors that we can actually do things. Okay, so basically the milestone will be, we'll go to the site survey first to determine where is a possible location. Is there enough signaling, enough coverage for our data, our devices to get the signaling? And then we will actually do the construction. Because it's just a small circle on the ground, so the construction is quite fast and quite accurate, okay? The accuracy of the sensor is roughly about 95%. You know, always things will go wrong somewhere, but 95% for this kind of smart parking device is quite okay. And of course, once it's on air, you will also send the reporting to the different kind of operation center. So even the people, you know, in Taiwan, you will see a lot of scooter, right? Trying to take on your plane and trying to give you a ticket, put on your windshield. So that kind of things, I will not say it will go away, okay? It will still be there. We will still need people to track somewhere. But actually, we can save a lot of this kind of personnel on the go, because they know where to go if the devices has something wrong, okay? They will not blind us just trying to circling around. They're actually trying to do a better role by staying green. So a lot of them using the electric scooters, but still they are trying to blind us, trying to circle around. By using this kind of information with a smart parking, we can actually redirect the person to the right places if something really needs attention, okay? So the achievement what we get is like we are actually working with the 7 cities, okay? We is in New Taipei, Taoyuan, Hsinchu, Tainan, Taichung, those kind of places. And then the best thing is that we actually install more than 20,000 devices. As what just now the government official mentioned, actually there's 40,000 more, okay? We have roughly about the 100,000 active user daily. Okay, so everybody is trying to use it. And then the inquiry of those kind of API trying to figure out where is the parking spaces, is there a place I can go, roughly is 2.3 million. And until today, we actually complete about 7 million successful transactions. So actually the money depends on how is the business model being restructured, can go directly to the government official, or we can use the different kind of app to help the people to pay, because some can use the microservice that offered by the telco to pay for their services, or they can use any type of the e-payment system that is very much on the market nowadays. This is also a way that we can actually be more stay-free, like the contactless economy after the pandemic outbreak. So all this kind of thing were actually supporting the city to be a better smart in a way trying to reduce all the air pollution or all those kind of things. Okay, so some of the actual screenshots that we have. Okay. So that's my presentation today. Actually, Firestone, we are trying to use a lot of big data, artificial intelligence, or IoT, trying to actually supporting different kind of business, enlarge their business touch, and also supporting the city government to be their smart cities. So if you feel free, please come to our booth downstairs to visit us. That I will show you additional more the things we actually done with the different kind of aspect in the smart city area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Liang, for your excellent presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker will be Ms. Yi-Tin Liu, Project Manager of Cameo. Ms. Liu has been working in GIS, data intelligence technology industries for over 7 years. She currently participates in several crucial environmental IoT projects in collaboration with Taiwan EPA At Camille, Etin and her colleagues continue developing cutting-edge AI technology and platforms for real-time air quality monitoring and analysis. Without further ado, please welcome Ms. Lu.
Hello, everyone. My name is Etin, and thank you for having me today. So can I have the controller? Thank you. Thanks. Today, we want to share with you that how do you use the IoT data and AI analysis to help the city governments to solve the air pollution issue. Okay, but first, who are we? We are a very young team that is passionate about using AI and big data technologies to visualize the data and provide insight to solve the real world problems and create values for the people. So in the collaboration with Taiwan EPA, our IoT air analysis platform also got winning on an innovative application in 2018 as well. So a little bit recap before the IoT sensor. To know about the air quality in the long term, the Taiwan government firstly built 77 national standard monitoring stations to monitor the air quality. And then with the rise of the IoT and ICT industries, technologies, Taiwan companies have been developing local sensors equipment and try to make them more available and less expensive. So they can be installed in many, many places. And also, there have been developed methods to maintain the quality of the sensors, which need to be standardized to make sure the data quality. So now you can see there are more than 9,000 IoT sensors deployed across all the cities in Taiwan. And with this big data collecting from the sensors, our engineers can process them, and through dynamic visualization, people can check their real-time data about the air pollution on a web platform like that, and also with the integration with different environmental data, we develop algorithm to detect abnormal pollution events, and then provide the information to the local environmental protection bureaus, so they can take the next step and to acquire more evidence to find the pollution sources evidence. And we also cooperate with the Taiwan government and sharing our technologies and methods to other countries, like at the moment also like Vietnam, India, and Korea. And at the moment, we're also trying to apply our experience to other different fields. So the core idea for us is to try to make the data more open and available for all the people and the public. And we hope more and more people can join us to make the world better. Okay. So very important why it's Taiwan. Because there are 23 million people are living in Taiwan, in this small, beautiful island. And very often, the residential area and the industrial area are very close together. So it's affecting people's health and life a lot. So these, as I said, these 9,000 IoT sensors, mostly they are put in the industrial areas and to monitor the local pollution patterns. So what can these IoT sensors do? They can detect the air pollution like PM2.5 and VOC. And then they will be sent back to our cloud data center. Okay. So here comes the first challenge. There are around like 4 billion records of the data in per year. That's a huge data set. And for us, we need to process them in real time so they can be displayed and on this such like a web GIS platform. And so all the people can check the real-time data intuitively. And we need to constantly to optimize our algorithm as well. And then the second, you might think, okay, it's good to see the data, but what can we do next? So, so the question is, if we can leverage these data to help identify the source of air pollution, and our data scientists develop machine learning methods through 6 steps and some models to find out the spatial and temporal abnormal pollution patterns. And these information are very helpful for the local government. So, like, once we have this algorithm and the technology, we can visualize the PM 2.5 hotspot in a city like this kind of map, and you can see if they are more red, that means they have higher risk of air pollution. So, and then next, our engineers also develop AI method to identify the possible air pollution sources. And the most importantly is, we are not just doing the math. We are very active to learn from the local environmental professional inspectors or officers, and then trying to learn their human knowledge and then back to train our AI model. So to make these models more accurate. Okay, yes, here's this video here. And what is the benefit of data visualization? And this is cases that we visualize in our platform. And if you are an environment inspector, the area probably have like 1,000 factories, and it's not possible for you to check them one by one, right? So it's very important. Once we get the IoT sensor data of the air pollution and we visualize on the platform, and then you can see with the time and the wind direction, you can guess where are the which direction are mostly like to generate air pollution. And that's one of our application of our analysis platform. Okay, so like this, we also can trace the historical data for a certain area and then try to find out their air pollution patterns. Okay. And once, like, if you're an environmental inspector, you will wanna respond an air pollution event quickly. So we also combine like mobile warning systems. And so once we calculate there is a air pollution event, and then we can send the warning message to your phone, like through line or emails, and then you can respond quickly in a timely manner. Okay, so this is in just last year, the Smart City chairman, Mr. John, he also visited our testing field in Taoyuan, Guanyin, and he was also very impressed by our solution of the air pollution management system. Okay, so the next will be real cases that we find in Taichung City. There was one local area that nobody can find the pollution source for a long time, but the people had been complaining about it. So Cameo used our analysis system to find out the PM 2.5 hotspot and events and provide the information to the local officers. And So it helped them to narrow down some certain companies instead of like hundreds factories in the same area need to be checked. And this had been like a several months inspection. They've been waiting for the evidence. And they also use like a thermal imaging equipment to get more evidence for the target factory. Okay. And we'll keep doing some analysis, data analysis support for them, and also learn a lot of knowledge from them. So for this story, in the end, they finally catch a company who are producing plastic bottles lid, and with the evidence that they didn't open the air cleaning equipment. And then finally they have fined them like 670,000 US dollar, which no one suspect them before because they are super rich and they are like a model factory. And this story is also reported by the UK University as a smart law enforcement cases through IoT and AI analysis. So now Cameo still keep developing new technology. Now we also provide solution like portable sensor platform to allow light users to rent the sensors and check their data in our platform in real time. And other solution like MOT system have been developed and to make the MOT data more visible and to get inside of the air quality. So by possessing this cutting edge technology and the real cases experience, there are countries like South Korea that already introduced Cameo solution to apply in one of their industrial area too, and this is Bucheon City. They also put the sensor data to hang on their street light. So that's pretty much about our applications, and changes are happening, and we thought we want to make our better future together. Thank you for your listening.
And thank you very much, Ms. Liu, for your talk on real-time air quality monitoring. And our next speaker will be Mr. Charlie Y.C. Chen, Software Executive Director of New Business Wingstrong Corporation. Mr. Chen will talk about smart city management examples, AI mosquito identification solution, and more. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us put our hands together and give a very warm welcome to Mr. Chen.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Charlie Chen, in charge of the software development and new technology of the new business of the Wingstrong. So let me introduce Wingstrong a little bit. Wingstrong is the 30 billion US company last year, and this year maybe over 30 billion. So as you know, we do have ICT experience on most of the branding company. We do the design and manufacturing for the notebook, desktop, and server, and also the mobile phone. So we do have several subsidiaries, such as the Wing to do the data center servers, and also the We Advanced as the Microsoft the CSP company. So we are trying to work with most of the branding company, including the carrier partners, to develop the new technology for the smart city. So let me give you several smart city example. So the first, mostly on such as the the public health. For example, we developed the dengue fever AI prevention system solution for the Tainan city and trying to promote to the other city and also Southeast Asia with the dengue fever, trouble countries. And also for public health, we do have epidemic prevention for the COVID-19 implemented on the Microsoft solutions. So you can do a lot of such as social distance, clustering, those kind of for your enterprise employees. I mean, for the smart traffic, we do have the intelligent traffic light sensing control system for the Taoyuan city as an example. So later we can promote to the all other city. I mean, to shorten the delay time and to have a better traffic time. So in the past, we use too much on the equipment on the traffic light. Right now, we use a very simple camera with the AI. Then we can accomplish the goal with very little cost. The number 4 application over here, where I'm going to introduce the drone applications. So over here, there's a very special application to use the small object detection to do agriculture forecast, output forecast. For example, you can count how many mango this year for this specific areas, before typhoon and after typhoon. So that is the, you can have an accurate number to deal with the insurance company, for example. And also you can do the people count, car count, everything from the drone. So this dengue fever AI prevention solution that we introduced to the Tainan city. Right now it's up and running. And also we estimate there's 50% of the efficiencies compared to previous systems. So it's all in the cloud, and you can populate, you can, deploy to different cities without any questions. So this TIMS EP, the epidemic prevention that I just introduced, and this one we won the medal in hackers competitions. So this intelligent traffic light control system with the AI image. I think under the 5G in the future, more widespread in Taiwan, I think the traffic time, the traffic light control system will even better than 4G at this moment. So this smart agriculture I just mentioned. Over here you can see we can use the drone to count the pineapple number to have a better resource control. Thank you. That's all my presentations on the AI example for the smart cities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Charlie Chan, for your AI examples to be applied in smart cities in Taiwan. And before the panel discussion, we will take a brief break. We will break for about 5 minutes, and the conference will resume at 11:25. gentlemen, the program will now resume. Now is the moment we've all been waiting for, the panel discussion. During the panel, telecom operators and industry professionals will discuss ways to leverage telecom operators' expertise and resources in promoting smart city development, and collaboration opportunities and challenges in smart city public-private collaboration. And I will now introduce the panelists. Joining us today are Vishnu, Director of Customer Engagement, Syntel Group Enterprise; Ravan Vignaswaran, Head of Enterprise Solutions 5G, Cellcom Ixiata Berhad; June Ming Yoon, Project Manager, Smart Space Video DX Business Department, Korea Telecom; Le Quan Help, General Director, BCAF Global; Mario Muliadi, Carrier and Enterprise Sales Account Director, Taolane, Taiwan; Dr. Quen Rong Wu, Vice President, Data Communication Business Group, Chunghwa Telecom; Bill Liang, Senior Director, Enterprise and Carrier Business Unit, Far Eastern Telecommunications; and Ray Feng Wong, Chief Technology Officer, Cameo. And ladies and gentlemen, the panel will be moderated by Dr. Shuo Yan Zhou, Distinguished Professor and Director of the Center for Internet of Things Innovation, National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. And I will now turn the program over to Dr. Zhou.
I think in this morning we had many fascinating presentations on different applications. Now we would like to explore further issues. Particularly after this morning, we have heard of a lot of development by different telecommunication companies. So maybe we'll start by asking further about what these telecommunication may be able to offer. I think telecommunication in the old time, we know that they are mainly for providing essential infrastructure for communication among humans and businesses. More and more, they are venturing into different vertical industry areas. I think most of you may have recalled that over the past few years, we have a lot of discussion on LPWAN in order to support IoT connectivity. And this morning, and also, I think starting from probably 2 years ago, we have been exploring the potential 5G technologies, including its capability on broadband, low latency, and massive device connectivity. I think because I think in the interest of time, I think I would not ask everybody to answer every question. I think for the first question, I would like to invite telecom companies to share with us further, because they know more about what they can offer, but from the outside, from the industry or even from the smart city development organization, they may not be able to understand or the overall holistic value proposition from this company. So maybe in the beginning, also I would like to thank our panelists from abroad. Maybe we start from Vishnu, because earlier you presented a lot of application by Syntel. Would you care to share with us more how we can leverage the power and resources of telecom? Vishnu?
Dr. Cho, it is our understanding that Vishnu is unable to join the panel discussion due to a previous engagement. Maybe we'll ask another panelist to answer the question.
Sure, sure. Maybe we will start with Dr. Wu.
Thank you, Professor Zhou and everyone. I think the telecommunication company provides connections between people and also between city and the people where they live in. As we are in the 5G era, and the characteristic of the 5G, as Professor Zhou mentioned, is high bandwidth, low latency, and massive connectivities. And under this situation, many things can happen. For example, the traffic control in the intersection, the signal control can be more efficient. Like if for the emergency vehicle, they can enjoy the priority drive when the situation is very emergent. And also for the autonomous vehicle can be achieved also. So in this 5G environment, the city can upgrade their functions and also induce their efficiency by using the capacity that the telecommunication company provides. Thank you.
Thank you. Jungmin, would you care to share a little bit?
Do you mean Jungmin?
Yes, sorry about it. Yeah, Jungmin from Korea Telecom. Okay, yeah, because you also described a lot of government initiatives and the infrastructure built by Korea Telecom. Would you care to share, other than what you have presented, are there any other resources that you think that Korea Telecom will be developing in the future so that industry or smart city developers can leverage it with?
Oh, yeah, okay. I think the most powerful resource from telecom is 5G telecom or connective IoT technologies, because actually telecom companies doesn't make autonomous vehicle indirect, but we could give our technology like 5G as a core factor of this service. So I mean, those resources which can get from telecom companies are basic digital infrastructure. So this is my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Ravin, would you care to share about the situation in Malaysia? I noticed that in Malaysia, you also divide the application into different vertical sectors and having pilots in different areas. Would you care to share how you plan to integrate them to generate greater synergy in the future? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Ravin? I think your microphone is probably off. Maybe let me turn the question to Bill. Would you like to share some? And Ravin, we'll check back with you later. Thank you.
Okay. Telecom company used to just providing the basic infrastructure service. As what many people will think, we are the dumb pipe business provider. Okay, but nowadays with the 5G, we see a totally different new type of approach that we can take, because somehow probably the legacy things that we used to call ourselves the infrastructure builder, suddenly we become the connectivity of everything. We have a basic infrastructure that will connect to everything, that's supporting the cities to install different kind of devices, sensors, that can collect data from different kind of aspects, such as the air pollution, that the air quality sensors. We can also control the lamp posts that we all like the smart street lighting, or also we can control the utilities that from the power, from the energy, from the water. With all this kind of different kind of sensor connectivity, we actually supporting the city to better aggregate all those kind of information into something that the business can develop into another stage that will actually serving better like the citizen requirements. How do we actually make the butterfly effect more effectively that will show off to the citizen that, for example, the parking, or you go home, your aircon will be on, but without the gas leaking, you will be notified in advance, those kind of things. Different kind of scenario we can supporting. While the telco is in the very fundamental, but we also supporting different kind of industrial to voice out their concerns, their questions. We can actually be a very good bridge to supporting city government council and the different industrial to bridging their shortness and also strengthen their strengths, enlarge their strengths, so we can actually cooperate to solve a lot of different kind of questions happening in the cities.
Thank you. Ravin, I saw you just back up online. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Would you care to share a little bit of the development in the Malaysia, particularly in the future, the integration of these different kinds of application to generate more synergy?
Yes, definitely. We believe the telcos have such a wide base of customers in the B2B space, whether it's government agencies, whether it's corporate customers, whether it's the SME market. So the telcos have been very well positioned in Malaysia, and I believe all around the world. Besides things like electricity and water, telecommunications is now considered a basic necessity, and because of that, we've got quite a big reach into various segments of the industry. Also, on the smart city part, telcos have been building towers and microcells, picocells, fiber, etc., for many, many years. Every telco has a department looking into working with local councils, getting approvals, joint developments, so on and so forth. Also with property developers. In Malaysia, we are seeing many property developers reaching out to the telcos very early in the development of a certain property. Everyone wants to make sure that they have the best facilities set up along with their construction. So telcos have moved from just being a mobile provider. Of course, that's still the core. We will remain a mobile provider. But now the progression is moving into smart solutions. And smart city is definitely one area where I see a lot of focus at the moment. And I believe the telcos have the right skill sets, the right experience, the right size and resources to grow this area, along with the partners. We do not create some of the content, but along with the partners, partnership is very important, and building the ecosystem. And I think that this will just grow, and you will see telcos taking a big part in the smart city development.
Thank you. I think this morning during the presentation, the thing that most impressed me from the telecommunication company is, as Ravin said, that telecommunication companies are no longer just infrastructure providers, which is more on the hardware infrastructure. But nowadays, because a lot of service applications are from the software part, so I think telecommunication companies nowadays also provide platforms to integrate all these data, information, communication, so that they can bridge all these communication and provide synergy in the future. I think this is something I feel strongly that telecommunication should be able to provide their power and resources to support smart city development. Maybe let me move into the next question so that I can invite companies developing different kinds of smart city solutions to share with us more. I think one issue about smart city development is that smart cities are usually owned by cities, by governments, and they are by nature a different entity. They are not profit-oriented, and I think from time to time they will be afraid of potential conflict of interest, and also I think sometimes we also have conflicting objectives, among other questions. So I think from the application development perspective, we have a few, at least 3, 4 companies having experiences working in the smart city development. Not necessarily from from telecommunications companies' perspective, you can also provide the insight. But let's invite our application development company to share with us how they may be able to work more closely with the government so that we can jointly develop effective smart city solution. Maybe let's just start with Winstrong. Please.
So Winstrong used to be a hardware company, actually. So for the solution for the smart city, I think we started from maybe early of last year. So we do have a lot of experience with the dengue fever solution with Tainan City. So right now, I think they have very, very good, control methodology on the mosquito. You never heard anything from Tainan anymore, actually. So next city will be new Taipei City, Taoyuan, Kaohsiung, Pingdong, these areas. So I think the awareness of the city government is a very, very important factor to the implementation of the smart city. For example, Taoyuan is more likely on the airport transportations area. So every city have their own characteristics and direction they want to go. So in order to cooperate with those city plan, we actually need to place a lot of the resource in each city. So I think I heard the air pollution example from Camille. I think there's a very good example. That's a whole island installation over 9,000 instruments. So I think fortunately, Taiwan is, compared to other countries, a smaller island. So we can do a lot of experiment in this island and explore to different countries. And so I think that's our view, since we are Taiwan used to be a war to ship all the worldwide products to everywhere. So that's our intention to expedite all the solution out to the necessary countries.
Thank you, Charlie. May I also invite Mr. Le Quang here from BKAV to share with your experience, because you are using Vision AI, basically putting cameras everywhere in the cities. Have you ever encountered any problem with the government or the citizens concerning with privacy issues?
Yes. I would like to share about something about the smart city deployment in Vietnam first, and after I share with you about our application of camera. In Vietnam, the government now start deploy the smart city for some big city, and it's very like a beginning right now. This is from government, but not only government invest to deploy the smart city, but also the big real estate company in Vietnam also start to build smart city. And we, BKV, also now provide the smart city solution. We have a full BKV and Qualcomm USA to provide a smart city solution, include many vertical from the smart lighting, smart navigation, smart traffic, to the camera security solution. And we also providing our camera to the smart city project. You know, the camera is very one very key and of the smart city lidar eye of human. So this is definitely need to deploy the camera in smart city. For the privacy concern from customer, BKV is the security company. Is a security company. We have 25 years experience in the cyber security. So we keep this advantage to keep the privacy issue for customer.
Okay, thank you. So maybe I can turn to Ruifeng of Camille. Yeah, I saw you that you have been working with EPA closely. So there's this data issue still. I mean, they could be open data or the data that you capture. Should other people using the data pay for it, and whether or not you are paying for it, and so on. I think usually government is quite concerned with the fair play in the business, although it's definitely good for the society. But again, as I said, maybe they are afraid of potential conflict of interest. Have you ever encountered such problems?
Yeah, I'm Camille I'm really from Camille. And we do have a lot of experience to communicate with although we are a software company, but we do spend a lot of time to communicate between the city government and the central government, city environment protection bureau, and also we also need to take care of the voice from the citizen. If there's something wrong with our website, with our data, they got a call from there. Yeah. So the most important things we spend we save our technologies for the data visualization, make it those air quality to make the human readable. So we need to maintain this platform as trustful for the people. And so we also take care about many voice from those non-government group They do care about our city environment, so we need to bring those and collect those their need to do those information to the central government, and to let them know what really what people really care about. So make it so this is how our platform will be really really useful for those people. And we also need to not only we also do things in although there are lots of data, but then not just only data. We need to make it as we also talk about how to create value from those data. Those data need to show the air quality, maybe the pollution, which we need to trace those pollution to make it really as information for people. For example, there's lots of fire accident for those battery. Those smoke emission will flow from city to city. So if our city can trace those trace the flow of those smoke, we can have we can have the air quality alarm first to make it really useful. Yeah, so that's those things will would really create value for those data. Then make them know, okay, they can have more it's worse for our government to keep developing those IoT and those services. Yeah. So that's the very important point for us to really create value from those data. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Mario, I think you have been living in Taiwan for a long time. And you
so I'm very envy with the Taiwan
you have seen the
smart city.
Smart city development. You also mentioned that hopefully by 2025, there will be a booming development of smart city in Indonesia. And are you envisioning a potential problem working with the government, or how do you see the opportunity of working closely and making smart city development more effective?
Yes, actually Telkom in Indonesia already work with for future smart city project with the government. Yeah, and then now our challenge in Indonesia, maybe we are lack of the maybe semiconductor company, like Taiwan maybe have a rich resource. Maybe for the future, we also need Taiwan to help maybe for the supply chain or maybe manufacture. Yeah, because in Indonesia, we are in the reality, the semiconductor company is very, very low. Yeah, very, very low, and we need like maybe TSMC or maybe some great Taiwan semiconductor company. And then also in Indonesia, as I already mentioned in the PPT, we have 1,000 of islands and cities. Yeah, so yeah, in Indonesia we are some of the cities is hard to install, hard to do the installation there, because it's maybe take from Jakarta maybe 6 hours, or maybe even there's a need one night to go to the cities, and the infrastructure in the cities is still low. But we can focus on the 100 smart cities, 100 cities that already appointed by the government, and hopefully I can bring like Taiwan Smart Health and Taiwan Smart City to Indonesia in the future. Yeah, and then I hope my experience in Taiwan can bring and make Indonesia better also for the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. In fact, it's a lot of things are quite complicated when you're working with a huge project. To use an example, I think for smart bus stops, it seems to be just a pole at a specific location. It involves, I think, maybe 12 agencies having overlapping jurisdiction. So it's very complicated, just coordinate and get things work.
Yes. Yeah, Taiwan is very interesting, yeah, and like smart pole, smart bus stop. Yeah, we can implement also in Jakarta especially, and make the cities better environment for the cities.
Okay, thank you. So maybe let me turn back to our telecommunication companies. I think at least for the Hualien case, I am quite impressed with the smart tourism. I think Hualien is definitely an excellent tourist spot, and in fact, I like going to Hualien very much. And we also had so-called University Social Responsibility Project in Taitung, and the problem that we saw is exactly the kind of solution that Chunghwa Telecom has provided, that is streamline the information, making physical world more transparent so that tourists will be able to access all the resources. Would you care to share, Dr. Wu, during the process, is there anything that we need to be aware of while we working with the local government, or any related issues?
I think local government are very willing to build their smart cities. So there's no problem between the builder and the government. But I think the main problem is how can we figure out what's the real needs, the real requirement of the government, and also about the citizen, the users. So the requirement discovery is very important, and that's the key successful factor. So we have to spend a lot of time discuss with the government and with the citizens, and through first prototyping process. I mean that we listen to them at the first, then we come back to build maybe a demonstration prototype, and show them the prototype, and they will feedback how they feel. That's make us figure out is this whether this is what they want. So the process will carry out many iterations. So this is time consuming, but it works. It works. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I guess it's the value that counts. So maybe let me switch a little bit, then we'll come back. Maybe can I invite Mr. Jung-Min Ng to share with us your experience? I understand that in Korea, I think government work more closely with the industry. But even under that kind of environment, have you ever been encountering any problems that, and how did you resolve those kind of problems?
Thank you for asking for that. Do you mean that the problems about the smart city development?
Yes, working working with the government, because we are on the two sides. Government is the owners, and the responsibility is to govern the city better and to provide better benefit for the citizen. But private companies are for profit. So, please.
Oh yeah. Actually, there are some issues about working with government, because if we should participate in government projects, sometimes they have a strict regulation about the participation. because in Korea Telecom is a pretty big company. So sometimes Korea Telecom, we can't join some project of government. And the another problem is that the profit issue, because working with government, we should follow their rules, or we can't make a lot of benefit different from other projects. So in Smart City project, actually we don't make a lot of profit comparing with our other business, but we think that Smart City project is kind of a test bed by using our technologies, or we can try to do new things. So we try to think less about our profit issue, but there are some problems working with government for developing Smart City. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I think you brought up a very important point on policy. I remember that for parking sharing, because by law, if we have parking to share, or parking to share to the public, there should be a certain percentage of the parking spaces need to be for handicap parking. But if you only have one parking space to share, then it will round up to one. So every parking that you want to share will become handicap parking. So I think in Taiwan, they had a cross departmental discussion, and eventually they changed the policy by introducing something called virtual parking lot, so that just 1% out of all the individual parking lots need to be handicap parking. Maybe we'll just follow on the parking part. Bill?
As what Dr. Zhou mentioned, that the parking spaces in Taiwan are like scattered resources around the city area. Of course, in the Hualien, those kind of urban area is quite okay. You can basically park anywhere. Then we need something like the so-called lawful interception or something like that to prevent people from misparking in misplaces. Okay, so that's a different story how we actually use the technology. So coming back is like, when we work with a different city government to trying to roll out their smart city goal, we actually facing some sort of issue like what mentioned, that is regulatory and policies, because we are actually moving into the future. And sometimes we are bounded by the current legacy policies, like what we can do or what we can't do. So I think the city government is also trying very hard to like changing or moving forward, so they will not use the current methodology trying to project to the future. So we need to use the future thinking to project back at currently. So a lot of the spec return, a lot of the information we given today need to be applicable in the future, or otherwise we might end up like doing the deployment and then we suddenly find, oh, because of this regulatory, we cannot proceed further. Then how? So I think this is something we need to get resolved, and together working with city government. And also the other thing is probably the how we actually supporting the city to monetize their things. Although we know city are like NGO, they are not running by the revenue driven, but still they need the funding. So where is the funding coming from, and how we can better support them to use the funding to support them to the most immediate, address the immediate things they want to tackle. So like in Taoyuan City, we support them with the smart light thing. This is probably one of the biggest IoT construction on the world. It's over 80,000 no, actually 160,000 combining with the Chunghwa, actually. Part of we divide half. So it's one of the biggest IoT controlling smart lighting project in the world that we actually supporting. You can base on the lighting condition to change the light or condition. So we will not actually stopping the drivers have a different kind of flare to their eyes, those kind of thing. And also for probably in Taichung counties, do we support them with the telemedicine? Okay, as in Taichung, we know it's a very nice places, but for the people to get the medical attention, is very far away. So we actually supporting the government by using the network to become actual to replace the roads. So the patients in those kind of suburb area, they can actually reduce their traveling time while get a better medical attention from the city, like from the Kaohsiung city or from the Taipei city. So those kind of things, we're actually supporting the local government to address their immediate needs. So by changing those kind of rules, changing that monetization model, we actually supporting the city to build a better smart city in the future.
Thank you, Bill. Very well said. Now we are closing to the end of the panel. Maybe we can have Ravi to have some final words on this issue.
Yeah, sure. So here in Malaysia, there are four pillars that I would say that we need to manage when deploying smart cities. Of course, there is the government, the federal government that sets the policies. Then you have the state government that has the certain property-related legislations. Then you need to work with the city councils under the state government, and then you need to work with the private property developers. So it's a balance. It's a balance, and you need to continuously work with four of these pillars to find the right balance, to work out the regulatory rules, and then to execute. Yes, there are challenges, and yes, there are glitches. But I think telcos have enough experience in this space to at least have some head start to understand these challenges, and I think it can be resolved.
Okay. So in the interest of time, we won't be able to open to the audience for any question. I think you have the information of all the panelists. I guess, yeah, you're welcome to contact them for further information. So I yield the...
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Cho, for moderating the panel discussion. Our special thanks go to the panelists representing Cellcom, Korea Telecom, BCAF, Hualien, Chunghwa Telecom, Far EasTone, Camille, and Wingstrong. So ladies and gentlemen, why don't we have another warm round of applause to thank our panelists and our moderator. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. And with that, we conclude the morning session of the 2021 World Telecom Smart City Conference. And dear guests of honor and panelists and moderator, you may now return to your seat. I would also like to remind all of you that we will now break for lunch, and the afternoon session will begin at 2:30 Taipei time.